Welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Sarah Peternell. I'm the owner of Family Nutrition Services in Denver, Colorado, and I'm the creator of Nourished and Renewed with Hashimoto's, a 30-day online self-paced program to helping you live your best life, feel hopeful and happier with Hashimoto's. Guys, today I'm talking to you. I want to address the issues that commonly affect men who have Hashimoto's. Today, I specifically want to focus on men and testosterone and how testosterone may be affected if you have Hashimoto's. It can be confusing. First of all, I'd just like to say that there are more than 2 million men in the United States who have been diagnosed with a thyroid condition, and the majority of those are Hashimoto's. Hashimoto's, if you've been watching my videos for a while, you know this is an autoimmune condition. We tend to think of these types of autoimmune illnesses as uniquely affecting women, but that's not necessarily true. In my nutrition practice, I work with quite a number of gentlemen who have Hashimoto's and have come to me for the holistic nutrition support to help them feel better. I do have a lot of gentlemen in my practice who are over the age of 40 and have started to notice and complain a little bit about some of the biggest changes that they've noticed with Hashimoto's as part of sort of the aging process. But really what we're talking about is low testosterone. So symptoms of low thyroid and low testosterone actually have a lot in common. Some of the symptoms that cross over include fatigue, low libido, erectile dysfunction, elevated cholesterol, weight gain, dry skin, difficulties with concentration and memory, changes in blood pressure, either going high or going low, changes to their body hair, such as their eyebrows or thinning of the hair on their head or the hair on their body. Also, sometimes men who are experiencing low testosterone or low thyroid may have some changes in their cardiovascular status. This can be quite concerning. In general, also, with low thyroid, men may experience things like changes in their thermoregulation or their body temperature, feeling cold when they should feel warm or vice versa. And lastly, there can also be symptoms of the digestive tract, including constipation. Now, if a man has already been diagnosed with Hashimoto's, they may know, right away to consider some of these changes in their physical health as being related to their Hashimoto's. And that might mean a trip to the doctor for your annual checkup and set of complete thyroid blood labs, including a rerun of your anti-thyroid antibodies to see what those levels look like. If there's been an increase, there may be some renewed autoimmune activity against your thyroid gland. Now, for others who maybe know that they have hypothyroidism, they're not quite sure if they have Hashimoto's, but they definitely know that they're starting to experience some low symptoms of testosterone. Again, it can be confusing because there can be crossover. Generally speaking, men who come to my office seeking nutrition support, they come for one of the other reasons that I've mentioned. They may just be frustrated because they've been experiencing weight gain, but they're still exercising and they think they're eating pretty well. They can't figure out why all of a sudden their metabolism has started to slow down. And again, some of the other issues related to sexual function and energy and libido and also motivation, which are kind of all related, these also have to do with low testosterone. So there is a connection between the thyroid and low testosterone. Proper production of thyroid hormone stimulates the hypothalamus, and this results in the production of the gonadotropin-releasing hormone, also known as GnRH. This hormone, GnRH, then signals the pituitary to produce luteinizing hormone, and luteinizing hormone signals the testicles to produce testosterone. So you can see that there's a whole interconnected relationship between the thyroid and the production of testosterone. If thyroid production is low, that whole cascade of events through the hypothalamus will result in low testosterone. So without normal thyroid hormone production, a male cannot have normal levels of GnRH. And the pituitary gland can't get the proper messages to produce luteinizing hormone. Poor luteinizing hormone means that the testicles will not be signaled to produce enough testosterone. So the result is that a male may be experiencing both the low thyroid symptoms as well as the low testosterone symptoms. There are a lot of different research studies that show this connection, and I encourage you to visit my website where I have a whole blog post about men and Hashimoto's, and some of the research there is featured. So what do we do about this for men? What would be the options that we could address from a nutrition and from a holistic perspective? Well, as I said, the first step is to visit with your physician, just to get a full panel, a full workup, a full thyroid investigation, including those anti-thyroid antibodies, as well as a baseline hormone check. Many doctors don't think of this right off the bat. They may decide to wait and see and test hormones at a later time. But if you are a man over 40 who has Hashimoto's and you're experiencing some of the symptoms that I just described, I do encourage you to ask your doctor for a basic hormone serum test for you. This is going to look at testosterone and some of the other labs that your doctor will deem necessary to see if there's a connection there. All right, once we've established that low thyroid and low testosterone hormone may be at play, and you're working with your doctor to maybe adjust medication or any other medical treatments that are necessary, there are things that you can do at home and as part of your lifestyle to help improve testosterone production. It all goes back to taking better care of your thyroid. The first thing from a dietary standpoint for men that I would like for you to know is that the overconsumption of alcohol, including beer and spirits, can be one of the inflammatory agents that causes some of the changes and dysfunction in the thyroid. Now, an occasional glass of alcohol, wine, beer, etc., is okay in moderation. But for some, especially if having a daily alcoholic beverage is part of your lifestyle, reducing this to maybe just 1 or 2 glasses of alcohol per week can make a huge difference in lowering the inflammation, better supporting your thyroid, and ultimately better supporting your testosterone production as well. Again, the blog post on my website goes into detail about some of the types of things to avoid, including alcohol, as well as some of the foods to start consuming. So the next step would be to take a look at what types of foods you're consuming. If you're consuming the standard American diet with occasional fast food, junk food, processed food, high sodium or high sugar foods, these types of foods can also be really harmful to both your thyroid and your testosterone production. So we're looking for the types of foods in your diet that may be contributing to inflammation of both the autoimmune process that's affecting your thyroid, but also affecting other hormones in your body, such as testosterone. Okay, so what types of foods should we include? Well, you would like to focus on whole foods. I don't mean Whole Foods, the grocery store. I mean foods the way that Mother Nature intended. Foods as close to their natural state as possible. So kind of think of this analogy, an apple versus a piece of apple pie. We would want to go towards the apple. We want to try to consume as many foods in their whole natural state so that we can support our bodies with the vitamins, minerals, fiber, water, phytonutrients, and all of the magic of foods that we get when we're eating an abundance of fresh fruits and vegetables, when we're consuming whole grains, and if you have Hashimoto's, those should be gluten-free grains. Check out my other video about why you should discontinue eating gluten if you have Hashimoto's. You should focus on having an adequate source of healthy fats in your diet, and those fats should come from primarily plant-based fats that are rich in monounsaturated or omega-3 fatty acids. I like to think of these as being nuts and seeds, avocados, olives, and olive oil. These are all great sources. I'm about to sneeze. Maybe not. Well, maybe. Okay, sorry. As far as other healthy fats, you can get healthy fats from animal sources, but you should definitely be focused on the highest quality grass-fed beef, for example, compared to conventionally raised meats that are going to have saturated fat, but are not going to have the omega-3 rich fatty acids in it as well. Focusing on some cold water fatty fishes. Also focusing on some types of animal protein that are a little bit maybe unusual in the diet. So like what about bison or elk or even ostrich, lamb? These are all choices of proteins that can be very beneficial for men because protein is very supportive of the thyroid gland. You can check out my other video, which is all about should you eat meat if you have Hashimoto's. So protein is supportive of repairing glandular tissue, and it's also really supportive for gentlemen because it helps men to maintain their muscle mass. Okay, that's really important as far as your metabolism and also as far as your healthy weight. So I'm just going to summarize a few of the things from the nutritional standpoint that you can do if you are a gentleman who has Hashimoto's and may be suffering from both a combination of the hypothyroid symptoms and or a crossover with low testosterone. The first is to reduce your intake of alcohol. Try to reduce your alcohol consumption to just a couple of small glasses of alcohol each week. Maybe save them for a special occasion. This can be very beneficial to lowering inflammation in your whole body. Also, pay attention to any of the inflammatory foods that you are consuming, such as fast food or junk food, highly processed foods, or foods that are laden with a lot of sugar and or sodium, and or the pro-inflammatory oils, such as some of the hydrogenated fats that are in those shelf-stable foods. Okay, so focusing on some of the plant-based foods, that is very beneficial, getting a lot of healthy fats in the diet, and also staying true to getting the right amount of protein that can help support healthy weight and help with repair of glandular tissue. So there are some lifestyle measures as well that I would like you to take into consideration if you're a man who has Hashimoto's and may also be experiencing some low testosterone issues. The first thing is that you've got to get your stress under control. This kind of goes hand in hand with some of the other dietary factors that I was talking about. When we're stressed out, we tend to eat a little bit differently. In fact, stressed backwards spells desserts. If you're over-consuming sugar, over-consuming alcohol, or if you're just reaching for the wrong types of foods because you haven't been prepping and planning for your meals, if you haven't been doing the right type of grocery shopping to make sure you have healthy foods at home, then yeah, certainly under stress, we will often reach for the wrong types of foods, either not enough or too much, or just the wrong choices in general. Other things that we need to do to help combat stress are maybe implement some lifestyle mindfulness practices such as deep breathing. I know that sounds basic, but just taking some deep breaths while maybe you're sitting in your car, or if you have a few moments, maybe sitting at your desk, or when you first wake up in the morning, doing 10 deep belly breaths can be a great way to help reset your nervous system and to tell your whole endocrine axis of the hypothalamus, pituitary, thyroid, and the adrenals that today is going to be a good day and that we're going to be able to combat stress naturally. Mindfulness is a tool and a practice that you can take into just about everything that you do in your day. Staying focused on the present moment, trying not to project yourself too far in the future, not harboring any sort of resentments or regrets about the past, and being accepting of yourself where you are in this moment. I know that some of these things may seem trivial, but I do know for a fact that stress is one of the most deeply troubling underlying causes for so many of men's health issues. As I said, the men that I work with in my practice often come to me because they think, well, maybe I just need to lose some weight, or maybe I'm not sleeping very well because I'm busy at work. What we have underlying in a lot of these cases is an excessive amount of chronic low-lying stress that is, becoming the norm in our culture. And so this is a great time for you to be focused on the ways in which you can better apply self-care to your own life. I tell my women clients the same thing. And guys, I'll be honest, I think guys benefit from a lot of the mindfulness practices much more quickly. And I think guys actually adopt mindfulness practices in their lives and stick with it for the long run. I have a few gentlemen in my practice who have Hashimoto's, and they have told me that they found one of the greatest things that helped to support them in healing from Hashimoto's was looking at their lives, looking at their health, and looking at their long-term outcomes from a different perspective. Not looking at it as so much a diagnosis or a label or something that they had to live with, but looking at it as something that they can overcome by being empowered and being their own manager of their best health. Knowing how to communicate with their doctors, remembering to schedule those doctor's appointments that are oh so important, remembering to be very consistent with your medicine and your supplements that you're taking to support your thyroid. The men in my practice who've been most successful have been very eager to adopt the healthy diet and lifestyle practices that I've shared here with you in this video. Guys, I have a lot of videos for you and a lot more coming because I've been very excited and thankful for the gentlemen who are watching my channel and asking questions down in the comments. So I'm paying attention to what you guys are asking for, and I'll be providing a lot more videos to support you on your journey as well. But I can tell you that the Nourished and Renewed program for Hashimoto's is also a really great place for guys to go to get more help, answers, and information. It's a pretty straightforward scientific program. It gives you all the tools that you need, including 28 days of meal plans and recipes. It gives you a way to track your lab documents, and it gives you so many different resources on implementing some of the stress management and lifestyle practices that I've talked about here today. Please check out Nourished and Renewed if this is something that you think you would benefit from. As far as combating low testosterone, it is possible. We don't have to suffer from hormone imbalances just because it's part of the normal aging process. There are things that we can do to help keep our thyroid healthy and to keep all of our other hormones healthy and in check. Thanks so much for watching my video today. I wish you a great rest of your day, and I'll be back soon with more videos. Remember to like, subscribe, and share with anyone else who could benefit from this information. Take care, and I'll see you soon.